Okay, percents are fractions that have 100 as the denominator. You also might recognize it in a decimal form where you have the decimal and the second place behind the decimal is a hundredth. For example, 20. 20 hundredths or 20 hundredths equals 20%. So if you had a fraction, for example, 7/50ths, that can be written into a percent. If you had 3/25ths, that also can be written into a percent. If you had, 9/10ths, that can be written into a percent. When your denominator is a number that can easily be made into a hundredth, it's easy to convert a number to a percent. So the numbers we have above, we have to figure out what are we going to multiply our denominator by to get 100. Well, we're going to multiply 50 by 2. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. That's the rule, if you remember. So this becomes 14 hundredths. 25, to multiply that to get it to be 100, we'd multiply by 4. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So that becomes 12 100ths. And 10, what do we multiply 10 by to get 100? We'd multiply by 10. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So that becomes 90 hundredths. So what you may not realize is that you've already made 14 hundredths into a percent. This is now 14%. 12 hundredths is now a percent. It is now 12%. And 90 hundredths, yep, you guessed it, 90%. All you need to remember is that percents are based on 100 as a denominator. And you can also remember that it's the 100th place in a decimal. When you need to find the percent of a number that may not have a number that can be changed into 100 easily, there's another way to find the percent. For example, 7/12. There's no number that you can multiply by 12 that will equal 100. So you have to do the division problem. This is simply 7 divided by 12. And going back to our rules for dividing decimals, we know that 7 cannot be divided by 12. So we have to add a decimal and a 0, the magic 0 that helps us out. Now we know that 12 can divide 70, not evenly, but close enough. It can divide it 5 times. We get 60 with a remainder of 10. We can add another 0, bring our 0 down. Oh, whoops, don't forget to put our decimal point, because that's how we're going to get our percent. So bring the next 0 down, and how many times can 12 divide 70? I'm sorry, how many times can 12 divide 100? So probably 8 times, because 9 times 12 is 108, so that's 96. And we have 4 as a remainder. Right now we have 58. So the percent right now is 58 hundredths, or 58 over 100. We could keep going, add another 0, bring it down. 12 divides that 3 times. It would be 36. We'd have another 4. And you see the problem? It's going to keep going. We'll keep having a remainder of 4, and we'll keep having to put a 3 up there. So we're going to round. So we're going to mark the spot, look to the right, 4 and less are out of sight. So as you see, the answer is 0.58, 58 hundredths. And 58 hundredths, as we know, becomes 58%. And that's how you find a percent if the denominator cannot be changed into 100. You do the division problem until you get to the 100th spot, and you find the percent.